Welcome to the Make Life Your Bitch podcast. I'm your host, Brittany Alysia. Greatness is a decision and your birthright. You deserve to love the woman looking back at you in the mirror. This show is for the purpose-driven female entrepreneur who is committed to only counting the time she gets back up. The woman who is ready to ignite the flame within, find her voice, and use the power of her story to transform the lives of those around her. This is your weekly fuel to inspire you to action, where I'll be sharing inspirational stories, real talks with thought leaders and successful entrepreneurs from around the world, and provide you with actionable success strategies for creating a business you love. I'm a content marketing coach, and I'm committed to helping you as an online creator and entrepreneur wherever you are to turn your dreams into a reality, to help you transform your messaging so you can create a genuine connection with your audience and grow your income online. You are far more powerful and stronger than you will ever imagine. We are the warriors. You were born for this. Let's make life your bitch. Hello and welcome to the Make Life Your Bitch podcast. I am your host, Brittany Alysia, and today is a daily dose. So what I want to share with you today is an experience that I had throughout the day today that really led to me having to hold the duality when it came to confidence, certainty, manifestation, and working through the mindset and the things that we tell ourselves. So what ended up happening was I am currently attending the UPW Unleash the Power Within event with Tony Robbins, and I am doing it virtually. And the really cool thing about this event is that they're doing it live, in person, and virtually. And that's why I was so excited to do this one, because I've done the virtual events and I've also done the live, and the energy of the live events is just totally incomparable to the virtual. So, I said to myself, well, if I'm going to do the virtual, it'd be really nice if they had it was live, and seeing all the people cheering and all that. So he has a really cool setup, but I digress. So anyway, what ended up happening was I had an idea that I wanted to take part about a month ago, and I dragged my heels. I was dragging my heels, actually taking action on it. And finally last week, I contacted my customer service rep that I usually deal with. Her name's Kelly Phillips. And I'll drop her link actually in the description, because she's really amazing to work with. But what ended up happening was I reached out to her last week, and she's been away. So she never actually got back to me. And so Thursday, Friday, still hadn't heard anything. Finally, Monday, I decided, I have to contact their customer service and figure this out. So it's been this back and forth thing for, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, so yesterday, of me trying to get one of my general admission tickets. So I have a few tickets on my file. And what I decided was I was going to take a general admission live ticket and switch it to a virtual ticket. To me, seems easy enough, right? And so what ended up happening was, because it's such a different way that they're doing the event, they got really overwhelmed with how many people needed support, that it was still last night that I was scrambling, trying to figure out, have they figured this out? What's going on? And so they told me that it was all sorted last night and that I would be getting an email and all that. And I'm like, okay, cool. So I wake up this morning, ready to go, and there's no email. So I'm kind of freaking out. And I contacted the woman I had talked to the night before, and she's like, oh my goodness, I can't believe that. So what ended up happening was this went on from 9 a.m. till 2 or 3 in the afternoon. I ended up talking to 6 different people who needed to switch this general admission ticket to a virtual ticket. And of those 6 people I spoke to, none of them were able to do it on their end. They had to submit a request to someone else for them to do it. And when they would look on the system, I kept getting skipped over. So it was really frustrating and like very overwhelming because, like I said, it's holding that duality and in something that I had no control over. And so I really went on this like crazy emotional journey today of, acceptance, feeling upset. And if you've heard me talk about the power of duality before and how important it is to allow yourself to feel the negative feelings too. You read the book, The Secret and the Laws of Attraction, where it talks about, you need to be in a positive state. So what happens with a lot of people is they end up, feeling negative and they try and like immediately switch themselves to a positive state. But what ends up happening is that negative emotion, that those negative thoughts and feelings often don't go away, right? We don't allow them to like continue through our system. And when something else comes up, all of a sudden, you stack onto that and you stack on. And, if we think about our partners, family, anything like that, when you finally unleash on someone and it's like you have this whole rap sheet of all the things that you want to get pissed off at them about. And it's because you didn't actually allow the energy to flow through you, whether you needed to cry, get angry, maybe like not angry at the person, but, feel the emotions, because we can't trap energy in our body, right? Emotion is energy in motion. And so in order for us to continue on with that energy, we have to feel it, right? And then on the other side of things, we can feel those feelings, but still hold the trust in the duality that everything is working out for us. So that's kind of that positive side, but we still, on the other side, need to allow ourselves to feel the feels. And so I really had to hold that duality today of allowing myself to feel frustrated, allowing myself to really trust. And, I kept telling myself, I was like, this is a lesson. Take this as a lesson as to, yes, act faster, but more of the lesson of the emotional piece of it. Like it was very much an experience today of how to hold it all through those frustrations and not wanting to get super mad at someone, not wanting to give up. There was a couple of times that I felt like, and I did say to someone at some point, I'm like, man, like I'm just going to give up. Like, this isn't worth it, because I said, I'm not going to sit here and refresh my screen every like 5 seconds. And, when I was waiting for 6 hours, it was like 5 or 6 hours. And, I really worked through that process of feeling the feelings, like I said, and that positive self-talk and that trust. And if you've heard me talk about the Dimensions Masterclass and, or the intensive coming up, and how I look at manifestation and how I look at abundance, it's not that I'm necessarily showing you just the science behind it, but it's the key things that really make up the manifestation process, so you can visualize it for yourself. And that's what I did today, was I allowed myself to, trust. And it wasn't trusting blindly. It was understanding how to really hold the duality, how to connect with both pieces, and allowing myself to, like, it wasn't even a trust, yes, trust, but it was this knowing that everything was going to be okay, that it would all get figured out in the perfect timing. And so, in the meantime of me going through all this, the depressive state of me, the non-action taker side of me would be sitting in bed, maybe like still in my pajamas and just like getting frustrated, playing a game on my phone, scrolling. And like in the very beginning, I kind of felt that way. And I was like, no, I need to start acting as if this has already happened, right? As if I'm ready. So I go and I take a shower. And while I was in the shower, I ended up like doing like a cold shower. And anyone who knows me, I hate the cold. Like I've been hibernating for a month and a half now because I live in Canada and I don't like the cold. And so, I ended up doing that to like change my state. I got completely ready, and, as if I was already going to the event, I ended up doing a meditation to put myself in a state of gratitude, but also a visualization, visualizing myself as if I was already at the event and everything was good. And going through that process of the visualization, the taking action, I really wanted to give myself credit for the determination that I had today to make something that I really desired into my reality. Because I could have contacted those people and said, don't worry about it. And I did have people question me and say, like, do you still want to be part of the event? And, I said, yes, I do. And it wasn't necessarily in my timing, but I did the action steps that I needed to take. I had an old Unleash the Power Within notebook. And so I pretended as if I was at the event, and I went through and I answered the questions, and, maybe I didn't hear all his stories and what, the stories that led to why we do those action steps, but have been enough times to know that. So what I wanted to really encourage you with this daily dose is to start looking at how you can hold the duality in your life. How do you react? How do you navigate through negative times in your life so that, because for me, yes, it was like a 5 or 6 hour process today. But if I actually gave up, right? If I actually gave up and just said, you know what, never mind, the next time I would be able to go wouldn't be till March, right? I would be giving up on my own possibility to manifest. Like, it's like stopping before the miracle happens. And so what we need to really do is hold that duality. And it can be really, really difficult if you are maybe struggling with depression or anxiety, and you have a fear of the future, and you feel frustrated because maybe things aren't going the way you want them to in your business or your family life. And what ends up happening is, and I've experienced this, is you want something so badly in your business, and, you start to feel shitty because things aren't happening the way that you want them to. And then all of a sudden you talk yourself into like, no, I can do it. I know that this is going to happen. I know in my being. And you put out an offer maybe, and nobody purchases. And then you're like, oh, see, I'm a failure. And it's just like this little voice inside your head. And all of a sudden, when we don't deal with that voice, it gets louder and louder. And then all of a sudden it's like this heavy weight on our entire body. And we're thinking to ourselves, like, how the fuck did I get here? How did I get here? And how do I get myself out of this? Because I feel like I'm just on this merry-go-round over and over and over again of happy, anxiety, upset, freaking out, oh my God, depression, and then, happy again. And, it's time to get off the struggle bus, right? So start looking at how you can hold that duality in your life. And if that's something that you want support on, obviously, like if you've been hanging out on the podcast, we have the Dimensions Intensive coming up. It's $333. It's a 3-day intensive, and it's going to be a few hours every day. And we're really going to be talking about abundance and manifestation. And so that at the end, you have certainty within yourself that you have a clear roadmap on how to get yourself out of those situations, we're going to get massive clarity on what you desire to ensure that you are on the right track. That, like I said, when shit hits the fan, you have a clear roadmap to bring yourself back. So we're going to have the clarity. If you're someone who really likes to be spontaneous and you like to call in random things into your life, and you think that that's something like beyond your wildest dreams, and you desire, something so big that it scares the shit out of you, we're going to talk about how to bring that into your life faster. We're going to talk about how to create connection with yourself and others so that you appreciate everything that you currently have. We're going to help you go through feeling good about yourself and really feeling confident and loving on yourself on the time, like especially when it feels like it's not working. How to show up and feel like you are enough and know you are enough when it feels like it's not working. And when we go through that, it's really going to allow you to really stay on that path of growth and really be able to give back, because that's why all of us, well, anyone in my world is in business, is because they want to be able to give back to people. They want to make a difference in people's lives. And it's really hard to do that sometimes when we're in such a negative state. So this is really going to help you with that. And, it's talks about abundance and manifestation, and we're going to talk about like really explaining it so that, like I said, you can create your own routine. Because what happens is, we have these gratitude lists that people tell us to do, or meditate in the morning, and you try someone else's routine and it doesn't work. I don't know how many people's routines I've tried. And I finally had to understand why. I had to really deep dive into, well, why do they do what they do, and why is it successful for them, and how can I create that for myself? And I really like to be spontaneous. I don't like the same routine every single day. And so it's helping you be able to create, not just a routine necessarily. If that's what you want, that's awesome. But if you're someone who is spontaneous and you like, you have a really different schedule, then, it's us navigating through how to help you through that. And we're going to be talking about the different dimensions, what is the 3D, 4D, 5D, and really understanding how when you allow yourself consciousness and awareness, and I'm going to show you how to become more aware in your life. And when you actually allow yourself to have that state of consciousness, it actually rolls back into all the other dimensions as well. So, this could be something that you're listening to and you're like, well, I don't really care about the dimensions and like the science behind it. But what it's going to allow you to do is it's going to allow you to understand how the energy works and why that state of joy is so important. And I'm going to show you how the compound effect and how the quantum really works, so that how to manifest things faster. And what it's going to do is, once you know this, there's no unknowing it. So all of a sudden you get control back, and, control back in the sense of like, okay, I make these decisions in my life, even though I'm handing it out to the universe. Like, I do have a solid foundation and a knowing that I'm not just talking to no one. I'm not just throwing shit into the air and hoping something sticks. And then we're also going to talk about, different practices and how to go through experiences like gratitude. And I'm going to talk about a whole bunch of things that you can do or try in order to get yourself into, that manifestation state. And yeah, so I just wanted to share a bit more about the dimensions, intensive, but that is it for your daily dose. And as I always want to say, go out there and make life your bitch. Thanks for listening to this episode of the Make Life Your Bitch podcast. If you enjoyed what you heard today, please share it with your bestie. And if you haven't already, subscribe, rate, and review the show on your favorite podcast player. If you have any questions, feedback, or compliments that you want to throw like confetti, you can reach me directly at podcast@makelifeyourbitch.co. Thanks for listening.